This weekend, we are having a full moon in Libra. First of all, this is the first lunation in the sign of Libra that is not going to be an eclipse since 2023, because the past couple of years, the nodes were in Libra and Aries, and we had been experiencing eclipses in the sign of Libra and Aries. We just experienced our last and final eclipse in this series, in this bold sign, which is the one in Aries that we just had in this past eclipse season. So this full moon in Libra is no longer an eclipse. Yay! And we officially wrapped up this past 2 years eclipses in Aries and Libra, and this past eclipse season that we just have. So this is a great news. However, I do want to say the aspect that is happening during this full moon in Libra can be quite intense and quite sensitive, emotional. So before I continue, please carve out time for yourself this weekend, if you can, to take care of your emotions, to allow what needs to come up, because we can only move through what we feel. We first need to allow ourselves to feel them in order to move through them. This full moon in Libra is happening at 23 degrees in Libra, which is the third decan in the sign of Libra. This will be represented, the corresponding tarot card is the Four of Swords in that decan. And the sign of Libra is the Justice card. So this week, this full moon can really bring up something that can be quite triggering for some of us, because the full moon, the sun and the moon, is going to square Mars in Cancer, and the sun itself is going to conjunct Eris and Chiron in Aries. Eris is an asteroid. It's represented as the goddess of discord, which is a dark feminine energy. But I love her because she is the one that is brave enough and not to be scared to speak her truth when something is not right, is not injustice, which is very much Libra is about. And this is about standing up for yourself, speaking up for situation, relationship, values, which is Venus, the ruler of this Libra full moon, because Venus rules Libra. So Eris is very much about conjuncting the sun, opposing the moon, along with Chiron, because Chiron is also conjuncting the sun. We have a Chiron Kazemi in Aries, so it's a lot of feeling, along with Mars in Cancer, which also talks about emotions and feelings. So this full moon, to sum it up with all the aspects, can really shine a light, especially we just have Mercury stationed direct earlier this week, even though we're still in shadow, post shadow energy. And on top of that, the ruler of this full moon, Venus, is stationing direct in the same hour as well. So both of them stationing direct is really allowing us to reflect on our values, right? Whether this is in our life, in different areas of our life, in all the relationships that Venus talks about. Money matters. How we see our values in different areas, in relationships, in the way we spend our energy, in the way we spend our money. Money matters, Venus related. So this is really going to shine a light to things that maybe perhaps we have been reflecting, or things that is happening around the world, which can really much affect how we see relationships, how we value different things in our life, and so on and so forth. So this full moon can really bring up some current situation, relationships in your life that is unjust, that you feel like that maybe your worth is not being seen, that what you give out is not being reciprocated, how you're treated is just not fair. Maybe perhaps there are relationships that you are giving so much that you are not valuing yourself, and maybe there's past traumas, experience that is going to resurface, so that we can attend to our wound, Chiron, to see how we can embark on this healing journey. Maybe you have been delaying, avoiding, or maybe you have been on one already, but none of us are truly ever 100% fully healed. They will come in waves where there are times they will resurface for us to heal another layer deeper, to be able to look within ourselves more, whether this is to reconcile some of the things that is in the past, that is allow us to heal, to grow, to evolve, you know, to find gifts and tools that we have to help us, allow us to sit with them, coexist with them without projecting them out then to other people in our life. So this is and with Mars in Cancer squaring it, this can be, for some people, not all, this can be things that is happening within your inner circle that not a lot of people know, that you don't talk about it. This can be within your family relationships, dynamic trauma that you have experienced, perhaps even in your childhood, they are resurfacing. Or maybe this is something that you experience with your mother, with the feminine figures or caretakers, mother figures, or just feminine energies that is in our life, because Venus tend to associate with feminine energies, and sometimes it can talk about the feminine associated figures, people that are in your life. Those relationships might come up to allow you to see that, hey, you know what, maybe our values no longer align, maybe you are reciprocating or not, and we're not aligning anymore, and it's time to put justice in space, you know, to really give yourself that time and space as well to process everything that is coming up, because it can be very emotional, it can be sensitive. I feel like this full moon, a lot of us might go through some kind of emotional breakdown, breakthrough, roller coaster, whether this is the past or the present that is coming up for us to look at, because it's time that we tend to them. It's time that we allow ourselves to do justice to ourselves, just like the goddess of discord with Eris, and tend to our wounds with Chiron, and also Mars in Cancer, taking the action to really process all the emotions that is coming up for you, for us, right? And the ruler of this full moon is Venus, Empress, and right now Venus is going to station direct along with this full moon, and she is in Pisces, which is represented by the Hangman, and in the third decan, which is the 10 of Cups. So these are all waiting on the other side of all the emotions, healing, or, you know, tough conversation, hard situation, you know, rough truth, awakening that you have to look at before you know where to invest, right? Maybe it's time to let go of relationship situation dynamics, money matter values that no longer pouring back into you, that is not aligning, so that you can make space for something new that is more aligning, to grow, to see things from a different perspective. Maybe Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde really provide different aspect, different perspective, different ways to see things, to process things. And right now, maybe perhaps the current version of you are no longer the same. So much has been happening around the world, things that are not just, things that are not good for us, that is not aligning with the collective intention and liberation values that is best aligned with us. That is not the change that we want to see in the world. It's time to align values and things that truly support us all collectively moving forward, knowing where to invest your energy. And in our world, money, which is what Venus talks about, which is what this full moon is reflecting too. So collectively, individually, is all really shining a light on things that we really need to ask ourselves. Where does your value lies? Who truly align with you, share the same value with you, right? So make some space this weekend to allow yourself to make space so that all these things can come up. They might not be easy. It can be tough emotions, relationship situation, hard truth that you have to look at, or perhaps the past is creeping in because they need your love. But I always believe that they are all happening for our highest good, because the universe knows that we are ready to face them, and it's time to face them. And believe that within all of us, everything's the root to solving everything is always love. Can you view all these things through a lens of love for yourself and for others, for the collective? Because We are all spiritual human living in a human experience, sharing this floating blue and green dot together. So I hope as you use this full moon, allow it to show you what in your personal life that needs your attention and love and care and healing. You also can project that out to the world so that we can create the world that we want to live in together, that is more aligning to all of us as a whole. I'm sending you all so much love and have a restful weekend and full moon.